Hi, I'm Kieran Dalton and welcome to the Kieran Dalton channel on YouTube. That's a truckie's hello, which is fitting because the topic of today's video is transport, and trucks is a form of transport if you didn't know that. Yeah, they do have a purpose instead of just freaking causing accidents, making traffic go slow and tailgating you when you're on meth. Well, the truck drivers are on meth, not the trucks. But if vehicles did do meth, that would make a pretty interesting Transformer movie, But going off the last couple Transformers movies, any storyline is more interesting than what they did. Apparently Bumblebee's alright. I haven't seen Bumblebee, but anyway, that is not the point of today's video. I catch a lot of trains, especially when I'm going to the city. I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, but I'm not a fan of traffic. And if you catch a train, boom, no traffic. You just got to put up with annoying commuters. And track work. Sometimes the trains aren't working because they have to fix the line and stuff. They're all a matter of safety, which is fair enough, but I still hate track work. And the thing about track work is they stop the trains and they use buses, and they're still meant to try and kind of get to your destination roughly at the same time. It might take a little bit longer, but you still should be able to get to your destination. Not in this case. In this story, I wanted to see a comedy show in the city. Went to the station. I didn't do my research. I went to the station, and the train stopped at Strathfield. And I went, oh crap! I know what's going on. Track work. And I went, that's okay. I've still got 2 hours till the show because I always leave a lot of time. I actually wanted something to eat before the show, so I went, I still get there in plenty of time. So I'm waiting with a lot of other people. There might have been 50 or 60 people, and people kept coming, and the buses weren't showing. So it's just this freaking backlog of people wanting to go on this bus, which it wasn't coming. And the train drivers, the guy who was in charge of the buses and telling people the time and stuff, he's like, I have no idea when this bus is getting here. Maybe you guys should catch a taxi. And no, I'm not paying for a taxi, I don't have that type of funds. I want a fucking bus to take me to my destination, That's what you guys promised. I didn't say it, I thought that. I'm waiting. Eventually a bus came, and it said all stations to Central, which is the main station, which I needed to catch because I wanted to get off at Newtown. Express train would just take you straight to Central, which, thinking back, I probably should have done. And I got on it, and the bus did a classic thing. It took off before most people were seated, and people were like, and we're driving, and we got into the first stop, and it stopped at a station, and a woman got up, and she goes to the bus driver, thank you. Then as she gets off, the guy closes his door on her. She's like, fuck you. Then the bus driver opened it, and I'm like, oh great, I've got a crazy bus driver. And it was just funny because this woman went from being polite, thank you, to fuck you really aggressively in a matter of like half a second. And she had the right to do so. I mean, the guy freaking shut the door on her. And we're driving, and I'm like, this guy is clearly crazy. He's nuts. I like to think maybe he was a train driver who had like a nervous breakdown, so they only used him on track work days. He was nuts. He was not coping well. He might have been that train driver. I don't know if anyone's heard the story, but of the train driver who had a nervous breakdown, which I'm going to go on, but I can't leave you on a cliffhanger. So there was a train at the station, and it wasn't going anywhere, and it was meant to leave like 5 minutes ago, and it was just sitting at the station platform. And everyone was like, what's going on? So one of the Cityrail staff walked up to see what was wrong with the driver, and he knocked on the guy walks into the driver's department, and the driver's there completely naked, just violently masturbating. He's violently masturbating, which he had a nervous breakdown, took all his clothes off and started jerking off instead of driving the train. Which I can understand having like a sneaky wank at work, which I haven't done, but I can understand it. But to take all your clothes off, that's pretty risky. I mean, breakdown or no breakdown, you know, that's pretty risky. Yeah. I don't know if like maybe he didn't like to feel his shirt rubbing on his arm when he's rubbing his penis or something, so he just took it off, and I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. But I like to think that this bus driver was that train driver. Anyway, we're driving, and he got lost, which still pees me off to this day. You know, all train stations are kind of roughly in a straight line. Anyway, we lost, and we're just driving around, and eventually people was like, "Mate, just let me off here. I'm going to catch an Uber or something." And he started letting people off the street on like random blocks and stuff. But I was committed. I wanted to see this bus to the end, and we were so lost that, and he was so late getting to the station to begin with. I've actually like missed the concert, the stand-up show I wanted to see. So I've got nothing to lose. I'm just sitting in this bus, and eventually he worked out where he was going, and he's gone back. Then he drives past Newtown Station, and I'm like, "Hey mate, you were meant to stop at Newtown Station." He's like, "No, I didn't." And I'm like, "Yeah, this isn't all stops bus. You're meant to stop at all stops." I don't know if you know what the meaning all stops means, but yeah. And he's like, "Hey, it's not my job to stop at all stops." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." "Yes, it is. As a bus driver driving an all station stop bus, you have two jobs. One is to stop at all stops, and two is don't drive the bus into the river. And because we're in the middle of the city and I don't see very many rivers around, you have one job, and that's to stop at all bus stops." And he's like, "Well, mate, you should have had a plan B." And I went, No. Cityrail is plan B. That's your slogan, you know, to drinking tonight, better have a plan B. And it shows the person from the pub on a train, you know. This is the plan B. This is your slogan. And he's like, "Mate, you need to sit down or I'm going to ask you to leave the bus." And I went, "Well, you didn't have to ask me to leave the bus. If you stopped at Newtown, I would have got off the bus on my own free will." And he's like, "That's it. Get off the bus." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yes, get off the fucking bus." And he opened the door, and I didn't know what to do. I just stood there for a second, and he was staring at me with like crack eyes, like. And I'm like, "Yeah, this guy's only a couple minutes away from taking his clothes off and masturbating. I mean, I kind of want to see that, but at the same time, I'm pretty scared of what's going to happen if I don't get off this bus." And so I got off the bus, and I ended up catching a regular non-Cityrail bus to the train station, then caught a train home. It was a total waste of time. I missed everything I wanted to do. Yeah, that's my story. Please press the like button. Please subscribe. Please tell me what crazy transport story do you have, especially if it's like track work related. No one really likes track work. I mean, it needs to be done, but fucking hell, it's shit. All right, thanks for watching. Kieran Don, out.